Hi, our names are Kaillie and Mariah. We are going to be talking about minimum wage in our country.
President Obama is proposing that we raise the national minimum wage to $7.25 to $10.10 per hour.
About 7 employees. So whenever minimum wage goes up, it affects my business as well too, because I pay them more, which has a direct impact on how much my business can afford. So this past year, I was a candidate for state senate, and this was a pretty strong topic that we talked about quite a bit. And I came out as being very much in favor of raising the minimum wage. And there's many reasons for that, and I know we'll get into some of your questions, but I, as a small business owner, have always started my employees off higher than the minimum wage. Granted, the state's Massachusetts and the national minimum wage are two different numbers, but in Massachusetts, we were always around the $8 an hour minimum wage number. And I always started my employees off at $9 an hour. Isn't a whole lot, but it was a little bit more than what the state was offering, because I always felt that I wanted my employees to feel more valued rather than just paying the minimum of.
The national minimum wage right now is $7.25 an hour.
The need to boost the economy by raising the minimum wage.
Profits near record highs. We should encourage corporations to invest more in research and development and the salaries of their employees. It's time for us to invest in educational opportunity to guarantee that we have the most highly skilled workforce in the world. For 6 out of every 10 jobs in the near term is going to require some education beyond high school. Folks, it's long past due to increase the minimum wage. That will lift millions of hardworking families out of poverty and in the process produce a ripple effect that boosts wages for middle class and spurs economic growth for the United States of America. Economists acknowledge that if we do these and other things, wages will go up and will increase the gross domestic product of the United States.
Everybody. For the first time in more than 6 years, the unemployment rate is below 6%. Over the past 4.5 years, our businesses have created more than 10 million new jobs. That's the longest uninterrupted stretch of private sector job creation in our history. But while our businesses are creating jobs at the fastest pace since the 90s, the typical family hasn't seen a raise since the 90s also. Folks are feeling as squeezed as ever. That's why I'm going to keep pushing policies that will create more jobs faster and raise wages faster. Policies like rebuilding our infrastructure, making sure women are paid fairly, and making it easier for young people to pay off their student loans. But one of the simplest and fastest ways to start helping folks get ahead is by raising the minimum wage. Ask yourself, could you live on $14,500 a year? That's what someone working full-time on the minimum wage makes. If they're raising kids, that's below the poverty line. And that's not right. A hard day's work deserves a fair day's pay. Right now, a worker on the federal minimum wage earns $7.25 an hour. It's time to raise that to $10.10 an hour.
Here's the reality. If we want to reduce income inequality, we need to boost economic growth. That's the debate we should be having, in which this side of the aisle embraces. Not how can we pay more government benefits to people who can't find work or artificially fix the price of wages. We need to figure a way to benefit the entire country by growing the economy. And largely, at least where I come from, people say there's three things that the federal government can do to help grow the economy. Get out of the way, get off our back, and get your hand out of our pocket. Those are three things the federal government could do which would help the economy grow and create more opportunity and a deal with this issue of income inequality in an effective sort of way. Well, so we need to boost economic growth. That's the debate we should be having about how
Most people who work for minimum wage jobs are most likely adults because they have more responsibility.
Most minimum wage jobs are Burger King, Taco Bell, or other fast food places.